the problem with modern sex education, and where we go from here. Sex education is one of the most essential aspects of preparing young people for adulthood, equipping them with the knowledge to make informed, responsible decisions about their health and relationships. However, modern sex education faces significant challenges in its content, approach, accessibility, and effectiveness. Here's a deep dive into the issues and the potential solutions for improving it. The problems with modern sex education. 1. Lack of standardization. Sex education varies widely depending on the country, state, or even individual schools. Inconsistent curricula mean that some students receive comprehensive, evidence-based information, while others are left with incomplete or inaccurate knowledge. In some regions, sex education focuses solely on abstinence, ignoring other essential topics like contraception, consent, and LGBTQ+ inclusion. Lack of national or global standards leaves many young people unprepared to navigate real-life situations. 2. Abstinence-only education. Abstinence-only programs emphasize refraining from sexual activity until marriage, often at the expense of teaching about contraception, safe sex practices, and sexual health. Studies have shown that abstinence-only education does not effectively prevent teenage pregnancies or sexually transmitted infections, STIs. These programs may also stigmatize sexual activity, leaving young people without the tools to make informed decisions. 3. Inadequate focus on consent and healthy relationships. Many sex education programs fail to address critical topics like consent, communication, and building healthy relationships. A lack of emphasis on consent contributes to misunderstandings about boundaries and respect in relationships. Teaching about emotional intimacy, mutual respect, and conflict resolution is often overlooked. 4. Exclusion of LGBTQ+ perspectives. Modern sex education often excludes LGBTQ+ students, focusing only on heterosexual relationships. LGBTQ+ youth may not see their experiences reflected in the curriculum, leaving them without vital information on safe sex and healthy relationships specific to their needs. The absence of inclusive education can perpetuate stigma and discrimination. 5. Insufficient coverage of sexual health. Sex education programs sometimes neglect the broader scope of sexual health, focusing solely on reproduction. Topics like STIs, mental health, body positivity, and menstrual health are often underrepresented. Students may also lack access to information about resources like clinics or hotlines for sexual health support. 6. Cultural and religious barriers. In many regions, cultural and religious values heavily influence sex education, often leading to censorship or the omission of critical topics. Parents and communities may oppose certain aspects of sex education, viewing them as inappropriate or against their beliefs. This resistance creates a gap between what students need to learn and what is taught. 7. Overemphasis on fear-based approaches. Some programs rely on fear-based tactics, focusing on the negative consequences of sex, such as STIs and unintended pregnancies. Fear-based approaches can create anxiety, shame, or misinformation, discouraging open communication about sexual health. Where we go from here. Improving modern sex education. 1. Adopt comprehensive sex education (CSE). Comprehensive sex education provides accurate, age-appropriate information about a wide range of topics, including anatomy and reproduction, contraception and safe sex, consent and healthy relationships, gender identity and sexual orientation, emotional and mental health. CSE has been proven to reduce risky behaviors, delay sexual activity, and improve overall sexual health outcomes. 2. Focus on consent and relationship skills. Teaching about consent and respect is critical for reducing sexual violence and fostering healthy relationships. Programs should include practical tools for communication, boundary setting, and recognizing abusive behaviors. Consent education should start early, in age-appropriate ways, and continue into young adulthood. 3. Include LGBTQ+ perspectives. Sex education must be inclusive of all genders and sexual orientations. LGBTQ+ students should receive information specific to their experiences, including safe sex practices and resources. Inclusive curricula promote acceptance and reduce bullying and discrimination. 4. Make it culturally sensitive, yet evidence-based. To address cultural and religious barriers, sex education programs should be sensitive to local values while still providing accurate, science-based information. Engage parents, religious leaders, and community members in discussions to bridge gaps. Tailor content to respect cultural nuances without compromising essential knowledge. 5. Utilize technology and online resources. Digital tools can supplement traditional sex education by providing accessible, interactive learning experiences. Online platforms, apps, and videos can offer accurate, engaging content on sensitive topics. These resources are especially valuable for students in areas with limited access to formal sex education. 6. Train educators effectively. Teachers need proper training to deliver sex education confidently and accurately. Professional development programs should equip educators with up-to-date information, teaching strategies, and sensitivity training. Providing teachers with resources and support can improve the quality of education. 7. Address misinformation and stigma. Sex education should tackle common myths and misconceptions about sex, sexuality, and reproductive health. Normalize open discussions about sexual health to reduce stigma and shame. Encourage critical thinking so students can evaluate sources of information. 8. Provide access to sexual health services. Schools and communities should partner with healthcare providers to ensure students have access to free or low-cost contraception and STI testing, counseling services for sexual and mental health, confidential and youth-friendly clinics. Benefits of improved sex education. Reduced teen pregnancies and STIs. Comprehensive education empowers students to make safer choices. Improved mental health. Promotes body positivity, self-confidence, and emotional well-being. Empowered youth. Equips young people with the knowledge to advocate for their rights and health. Inclusive society. Encourages acceptance and understanding of diverse identities and experiences. Conclusion. Modern sex education needs a significant overhaul to address its current shortcomings. By adopting comprehensive, inclusive, and evidence-based approaches, we can empower young people with the tools and knowledge they need to navigate their lives confidently and responsibly. Education is the key to breaking down stigma, fostering healthier relationships, and building a more informed and inclusive society.